Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nerdcast. I am Devin, hosting as always live from an undisclosed location in the center of Texas on a pretty awesome Friday night. It's the Halloween weekend night, the night of Halloween weekend. Halloween's on Sunday. I hope everybody's having a really awesome night, a spooktacular night even. That's about as far as I'll go with those weird puns, but yeah, it's a Halloween once again, and it's kind of weird. It's one of my favorite holidays, but I haven't really, obviously, it's extenuating circumstances last year as to why I didn't really do any kind of celebrations for Halloween. And it's a little bit different this year, you know, things aren't quite as crazy as it was last year. I have my old costume in my room over there, my Cyclops costume. I don't know if I have that I can bring up anywhere. My Cyclops. The Grant Morrison, basically, Cyclops. Although you could tell this jacket was a shitty jacket ordered from some lame, you know, Chinese hack job. Not that I'm ragging on the Chinese, but, you know, that's what it was. Like, the X doesn't line up on, like, the shoulder, so it was kind of janky. But, yeah, I used yellow tape to put the little rings. Let me see if I can pull up the reference photo. Yeah. Just do that. So yeah, I had the best replication of the jacket that I could. This jacket is actually a replication of I feel like they used it in the movie. Maybe. I wasn't exactly going for a Ty Sheridan Cyclops. I was definitely more on the Grant Morrison side, but obviously the Ty Sheridan Cyclops was inspired by the Grant Morrison. These are Grant Morrison outfits here. But you could see how, like, the X comes over. Like, first of all, it's a much bigger stroke on the X, and they actually come over properly over the shoulders, and mine didn't. You know, it's just a function of how lame those actual... Of course, I had my wig. My Cyclops wig. But yeah, that was my Halloween costume last year. I'm gonna get to some trailers and I'm gonna hop into The Witcher. I haven't seen this one yet. I wish I could say I have a love-hate relationship with live-action anime adaptations, but honestly, it's mostly just a hate relationship. I don't know if I've encountered one that I would say I loved. Anything, I think the closest to that, and it's not even really an anime adaptation, Blade of the Immortal. That was a Dark Horse comic that they turned into a movie. And Blade of the Immortal was okay. I think I tried watching Kenshin. That was bad. Death Note was awful. Which other ones have I tried watching? I forget. I try to block them out. I don't watch them, honestly, but the ones that do catch my interest, I just forget about them. I was one of the people that was kind of excited when I saw Netflix drop their version of the Cowboy Bebop intro. I thought it was alright. I think, from what I saw from the initial teasers and promos for it, it kind of looked a little campy, like it was a 1970s exploitation kind of thing, which has never really been the vibe of Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop has always kind of had more of a... I don't know. Maybe it has been the vibe, but I just never really caught on. Maybe I missed the point of the anime, but it always just kind of seemed like it was more. Obviously, the soundtrack is very heavily jazz influenced. I mean, it's just straight jazz by Yoko Kanno, and it's a great soundtrack too. So that jazz soundtrack and like that Western kind of vibe where bounty hunters are tracking down bad guys and like this neo-noir sci-fi dystopian cityscapes and space battles that they engage in and whatnot. It never felt like it was exploitation or anything like that. It always just felt like, it felt closer to like maybe Firefly, which is kind of funny because I was also thinking of Outlaw Star when I was mentioning that, and Outlaw Star is basically anime Firefly, or Firefly is really kind of a live-action adaptation of sorts of Outlaw Star. None of those things ever kind of had that vibe for me, so it was kind of weird seeing that Netflix intro with a little bit of that 70s exploitation vibe. the intro, and it might just be a function of using live action rather than animation, because the anime intro has a lot of those same beats, but it doesn't come off as exploitation. It really comes off kind of as a nod to like those Saul Bass graphic design intros from those 70s, 60s, and 70s movies from like the 40s, 50s, and 60s or whatever. Man with the Golden Arm is the most prominent one that comes to mind, but Saul Bass has done so many of them. They look great as animations for the most part, but with all of like the saturated colors that they were using with the Cowboy Bebop adaptation, it just kind of came off as looking like campy exploitation rather than like a really cool jazz intro. Like, maybe I can pop open some examples. Alright, we start off with Man with a Golden Arm, which, like I said, is probably his most prominent one. And if you haven't seen this movie, this is a great movie. Frank Sinatra plays a jazz musician who is struggling with a heroin addiction, which is what the Golden Arm, kind of double entendre there. Golden Arm is a saxophone, Golden Arm as it's shooting up. It's a dark movie, but it's great. Especially if you like old Frankie Blue Eyes. I don't know why I said it like that, but whatever. What else is on here? I think he's done some Hitchcock stuff too. He may have done North by Northwest. He did Vertigo. Oh, Vertigo's a great one, if I recall correctly. I love Vertigo too. Vertigo is one of my favorite movies. I love Hitchcock movies, and I had a chance to see this one on a big screen at Alamo Drafthouse, and it is definitely a movie that is worth watching on a big screen. Old Jimmy Stewart. Give me a drink here in a second. I don't know if Saul Bass did any of the Bond intros, but I could see how the Bond intros would have been inspired by him. It's a mad, 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 mad world. I know of this movie. I think I've seen clips of it, and I know that it's inspired, you know, that Simpsons episode with the cat burglar. And also that Rat Race movie. I don't think I've ever actually seen this movie, though. Anyways, let's watch this cowboy. That was a weird sidetrack, a weird tangent, but let's watch this trailer and see what's going on with this show.
So what brings you back from the dead?
A week ago, I did a job, a bounty. I had a partner, believe it or not.
He know what you used to be? Will I ever see you again?
They tried to kill me, Anna. If you need to find me, I go by Spike Spiegel these days.
It's time to blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's go.
In this solar system, if the cops and the bounty hunters don't get you, the syndicate will. There's no happy ending here.
Spoken like a man who's never been in love.
I was.
What happened?
I was dreaming.
What do you say, fellas? You want to team up? I was thinking a 60-40 split. Going my way, of course.
Do not shoot her.
Oh, it's the dog.
Please.
No.
What the actual fuck?
We're a team. The 3 of us. Go grab some bounties.
Please, I just want to kill her a little bit.
God damn it, Spike.
It's jam.
You good guys. Or bad guys.
Depends on who you ask.
Oops. That doesn't look too bad. That doesn't look too bad. This microphone, I swear. It's death of me. That doesn't look too bad. It looks... So... One of the main problems with a lot of live-action anime is that the costuming just looks weird. It looks like cosplay shit. Cheap cosplay shit. And I kind of got a little bit of that vibe with God, who's that? Cho? John Cho, yeah. I'm kind of getting that vibe a little bit with this costume, and with his hair. Like I feel like it might be trying a little bit too hard to fucking find a
60-40 split.
It might be trying a little bit too hard to reproduce the look of the show. I mean, it's not a complicated costume. It's just a jacket and a tie and whatnot. But I didn't get that vibe from Jet. Jet looks fine, I think.
Going my way.
3, 2, 1, let's go.
Yeah, Jet looks fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with his costume. And even Faye, they changed her costume a bit, obviously. But,
You want to team up?
I think she still looks fine.
I was thinking a 60-40 split.
I mean, that's a good adaptation of the general vibe of her costume. Her character's costume in that anime is way too cartoony to be like a normal attire that someone would be out and about wearing, even in a futuristic, spacescape. So I think they did a pretty good job with kind of reimagining what the spirit of her costume would be. But I think that Jet and Faye looks fine. This, I think, is trying too hard. They probably should have pared back on it. I don't know if he needed the popped collar, or maybe the color of the jacket's a little bit much. I don't know. I don't know what it is. There's just something about it that seems... Maybe it's the wig. Maybe I'm just used to seeing this dude with, like, short, straight hair, that seeing him with long, curly hair is kind of bugging me out. I don't know. It's a whole thing, but I'm sure it'll be fine. It looks better than I thought it would look. I'll say that. It looks like it could be pretty cool. I'll watch it. I liked that anime. I was never super gaga over it the way a lot of other people were, and I know like Adult Swim's been playing it nonstop for 20 damn years at this point, but I think it looks pretty cool. It's a good anime, and if they adapt it right, it could be a fun show. But this is what I'm really looking forward to. And we'll get into The Witcher here after I watch this. Watcher, a word. I really hope, what I want at some point in the Netflix Witcher series, what I really want is for to just hear in the background, just isolated way out in the background, the camera's kind of panning up and out of like a city as Geralt or somebody is riding into town, and like you see all the characters in the cities going about their day. You know, they're going to the market, they're sweeping up whatever, and I just want to hear faded in the background, pam 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 param pam pam param pam param. Just give that to me somewhere in the back, very faded. Doesn't even have to be super prominent. You'd have to really turn your volume up and keep your ear out for it, but I just want that at some point in this series. With absent that, the show's a failure. But let's just see how much of a failure it's going to be.
Something has changed, Geralt. The world's acting strange these days. The North and South at war. Monsters roaming when they should be hibernating.
Ruxa.
Maybe it's the end of days.
Are you willing to sacrifice your life?
I've lived through 3 supposed end of days. It's all horseshit. This continent was meant for no one. None of us will have any peace until there are no monsters left in the world.
That's my home. My fight.
Your precious leader's after something. You're a pawn to get to it.
Rebuild our forces. Strengthen our numbers. We are an empire. The war's just begun.
Oh, shit.
Fear is an illness. It can consume you. Our best chance is to face it. Are you ready for this?
If what you say about that girl's power is true, you can't help her.
The fuck? Was that a lesson?
Myth, legend.
We need your help.
Fine, but first, gentlemen, it's been an honor. What? I made new friends. Get over it. Jealous?
Oh man, okay, that looks. I mean, I guess we'll have to see. We did reviews of the first season of The Witcher on this channel. You can click back on the old videos and watch what Justin and I thought of that first season. It wasn't the best review that we've done, as far as like whether we liked it or not. There were some moments, but we knew it was obviously good. It was already announced that they were going to do a second season before the first season even came out, so we knew this was coming. And we had a lot of, like, you know, in order to avoid the pitfalls that the first season fell into, they would need to do X, Y, and Z. And chief among them was no more disjointed timeline shit. Like, that was very confusing, and we spent a lot of time with characters that didn't really feel like their stories were consequential to the main arc. For starters, it felt like the season had no main arc. There was no through line that we were following throughout most of the season. It was just really just like a random collection of shit. And not in like that monster of the week sort of way, like old TV shows used to be, where every episode was kind of its own self-contained thing. it was obvious that they were trying to have like a through line from the first episode to the last, but there wasn't anything narratively strong enough or coherent enough to connect those episodes in that way. And a part of that was just the timeline jumping and whatnot. So like getting rid of that timeline jumping, which I think was also just a function of the fact that, you know, they were introducing Geralt using a couple of stories from the short story books where Ciri didn't really have a great deal of involvement, and Yennefer didn't really have a great deal of involvement. They were trying to pull in story elements from the latter books, but there is some timeline discrepancies involved there, so they were trying to account for all that. Whatever. That's all done. We're past that. It was a rough first step, but this looks like it could be a more coherent... I hope that it's a more coherent story, and I hope, and it looks like they're giving us a lot more Geralt. That was the big complaint for both me and for Justin. And Justin in particular, he made a point of harping on it more than I did. The show's called The Witcher. We want to see Geralt of Rivia do Geralt of Rivia shit, you know, and for the most part, this trailer has him doing some shit that we hadn't seen before. This is from a short story from the earlier books. It's a great story, too. Carrying that tree over from the...
It's all horseshit.
Carrying that tree over from the Vesemir anime. Which wasn't bad. I watched that. It wasn't that bad.
None of us will have any.
I like that. That's definitely a nod to the game.
It was meant for no one.
Was that... I couldn't tell if that was... Oh, come on. I can't tell you how many times I've accidentally snapped fire on some candles because they were in focus when I wasn't intending to.
Damn candles. None of us will have any peace. Until there are no monsters.
Also, what's with the rap track in the back? I like it. I like it. Geralt's fucking thuggin'.
Your precious leader's after something.
So, okay. I can't remember.
Precious leader's after something.
Is that supposed to be Lambert? I think that might be Lambert, and that might be... Is that... Jesus, I forget that other weird Witcher's name. Not Eskel. And it's not Cole. I think Cole was the Witcher in the first Witcher game that gets killed. There's another Witcher. I forget his name, though. I want to say Leon, but it's definitely not Leon. Leon. The Witcher Leon. He looks like a Leon. Hey, it's the Witcher Leon. No, but I think that's supposed to be Lambert. Lambert, what a prick.
You're a pawn to get to it.
Rebuild our forces. Strengthen our numbers. We are an empire.
I can't tell who that's supposed to be. Maybe Kahir?
The war's just begun.
Oh wait, shit, was that Vilgefortz? Oops. The fuck is going on with his face? No, that's not Vilgefortz, unless they recast him. Vilgefortz was... He was like a Hispanic-looking dude in the first season. This guy looks like he's just stepped off of the set of this dude looks like he fucking does backup for him. That old goth band, him. Yeah, these fucking dudes. These guys. Him. Oh god, I remember that song of theirs. Baby, join me in death. God, it was one of the most ridiculous songs I've ever heard in my life. Yeah, that's what this dude looks like. He looks like he just stepped off of one of these photo sheets here. I don't recall him in the first season. Vilgefortz was in the first season. Unless they cast him, or unless this dude just looks way different now. That was like 2 years ago. I don't know who this could be. Who are these fucking guys? They've got little axes on them. And if ever there was a guy, these guys, these guys look like NPCs. If ever there was a character that I would look at, I could just see like the execution death animation where Geralt, like, it goes into slow-mo and the camera pans around and he like cuts somebody in half. Like, this guy looks like he's about to get cut in half. I can see, like, all of these dudes are just rolling up to be, like, you know, executed in that way. And I think that's the him dude back there. So I don't know what's going on here. So is that Ard? Looks like you just used Ard to do something. Or is that Quinn? That could have been Quinn. That could have been a shield. That could have been a Quinn shield. Yeah, it looks like it broke a prong off his spear. Yeah, I think that was a Quinn shield. Was that a pool table? It looks like a little pool table, but I think that's just one of the tables they made. Is this... What is going on in this? Kaer Morhen... I don't think Kaer Morhen was attacked in the books. I don't recall that. The sacking of Kaer Morhen happened before? I mean, we saw it in that Vesemir anime. And then in our first playthrough here on this channel with the first Witcher game, we saw the professor and the Salamandra attack Kaer Morhen again then, but I don't know what's going on this one. See? See? See, that's exactly what I was talking about. As soon as those dudes rolled into that room, I was like, we're gonna see some execution animations here. Fucking wreck that dude. Fucking wreck that dude. Wreck that dude.
Fear is an illness. It can consume you. Our best chance.
I like that armor. All of this armor. I guess this is the new Nilfgaardian armor, maybe? I hope so. That Nilfgaardian armor in that first season was a huge mistake. Like, an unbearable mistake. I hated seeing it on screen every time. Geralt's armor was okay in the first season. I didn't mind it. Didn't have any issues with it. This looks... I mean, it looks cool, but it looks... There's a style to it that doesn't really say Witcher to me. I don't know what this reminds me of. Oh shit. All the Witchers are fucking amped up right now. I think that's Lambert. One of these dudes has got to be Eskel. And then who knows what, and that's Vesemir. Who knows what's going on with these guys? Just imagine rolling up on this. Imagine rolling up on this thinking we're gonna get these motherfuckers. Really? Really? You want to do that? You want to do that with your shitty armor? Those guys were barely wearing shirts. And granted, these guys aren't exactly like decked out in plate mail or anything either, but come on, look at them. You want to roll up on this shit? It's like you just walked into a vampire's lair.
Why men throw their lives away attacking an armed Witcher, I'll never know. Something wrong with my face? You have to face it. Are you ready for this?
If what you say about that girl's power is true, you can't help her.
That looks like a Leshen. That's very cool. I'm also really glad we're seeing more monsters. Like, that was the best The best episode of that season was the Striga episode, by far, because it had a very understandable through line from top to bottom, and it showed Geralt doing Witcher shit, showed him doing his investigations, it showed him doing all of his prep work, and it showed him, it was a very lengthy battle, a nighttime battle with a horror monster creature. Like, it was cool from top to bottom, and the choreography was awesome, the CGI was awesome, everything about it was cool. It made sense, it established the character, it showed you what he does on a day-to-day basis, it showed you why he's a badass. And it gave you a really awesome monster to see. And you watched how he fights a monster. He's a monster slayer. You want to see a monster slayer slay some monsters or in some curses and that kind of stuff. Like, so seeing that this trailer at least hints at the promise of more monster encounters, I think that's a good thing. I think that's going to be really cool. And this looks like a cool version of their take of the Leshen.
A man, a myth, a legend.
And we need your help.
Fine, but first... Gentlemen, it's been an honor. What? I made new friends. Get over it. Jealous?
I wonder if the show feels like there's any... Or if they feel like there's a burden on them to... Is that? I wonder if the show feels like there's any burden on them to create an earworm. To create an earworm with the degree of success that they had with Toss a Coin to Your Witcher. Although I listened to that soundtrack, and I don't even think that's the best Dandelion song on the show. I'm partial to Her Sweet Kiss, to be honest with you. I thought that was a much catchier song. They're all catchy songs. And the Fishwife's, or the Fishmonger's Daughter, that's a great song. Like, there's a lot of catchy songs in that soundtrack, but obviously the one that took over the world in the winter of 2019, before COVID took over the world, preceding the COVID pandemic, was the Toss a Coin to Your Witcher pandemic. And I wonder if they feel any kind of pressure, or if the composer felt any kind of pressure to best themselves on that. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. If you liked what I said, what Justin said, if you like the content we're providing, if you had any kind of laughs at all, even if you hate us, if you hate my guts, if you want to stab me, if you want to say all sorts of horrible things to me, cool. Like the video, subscribe. You'll get fed all sorts of shit you'll probably hate. And if you like us, you'll get fed all sorts of shit you probably like. So, please and thank you.